What's up, Panthers Nation? We're back today with another video. Keep pounding! So today we're going to be talking about Phil Snow, the new defensive coordinator for the Panthers. And I have an article for you guys. I'm going to quickly read through this. It's on the official Panthers website. And it's titled, Phil Snow has been waiting for a chance to coordinate an NFL defense, and he knows exactly what he wants from it. And it's from our buddy Max Henson. So we're going to get into this. Not only does he talk about his philosophy, but what he wants to see out of this team after 3 years, and also gave an example. So let's dive right in. If you're new here to the channel, please like a sub and hit that bell so you don't miss the new content. And leave a comment if you feel so inclined to do so. Alright, so he starts off by saying he's 64 years old, and he was a defensive backs coach in high school, and junior college level, before bouncing around. Now ended up in the Pac-12, and ended up as a widely respected defense coordinator. He says his last challenge is the National Football League. Now, if you've seen the success he's had before he got to the Pac-12, I can't really speak on that. But if anybody has that information, please do drop that in the comments below. I'd be interested in finding out. But generally, you don't pay that much attention to that. You only pay attention to what these guys do in college. So, he was an assistant with the Detroit Lions from 05 to 08. And he won a game as a head coach without... Oh, okay. I misread that. I haven't won a game as a head coach without him as my defense coordinator. That's coming from Coach Rule, our new head coach, ladies and gentlemen. That's high praise. And that's a fact. But, going through all the nonsense, let's get to the real meat of the article here. So we're going to dive into the blueprint for success on defense. When asked to describe his defensive philosophy, Snow leaned forward and paused. It was like throwing a fastball right down the middle to a power hitter. I love that line. I love that. Whoever wrote this, thank you. I think it was Max. I think it was. But beautifully put. Because that's exactly how this man approaches interviews. I've seen a few of them. I actually did a little bit of research listening to a couple of his old interviews. He's a really interesting guy. When he's been up on podium in front of media. But he says, everybody talks about playing hard, but they don't. Pause it right there. Isn't that just the definition of what this team has been doing for the past 4 years? They say they're playing hard, but they don't. Beautifully put. Now, he continues on. A lot of people say that they do it, and they don't even come close. There's a lot of preparation that goes into doing that, so that's number one. Well said, man. Well said. Number two, how physical you've got to play the game. You can't be good on defense if you are not physical. Thank you. Haven't I been saying that all year? Have I not? They told me going in that you can't play defense in the Big 12. But by year 3, we are running the football and we're playing real fast and physical. That is the changes he wants to make. That's the changes. And I love it. This rebuild looks better and better by the moment. Once they eliminated all the little mistakes that led to big plays, Snow said the defense really turned the corner. Wouldn't that be amazing once that happens in Carolina? We've made so many little mistakes. And, you know, let's name a few. You know, starting with Dante Action Jackson out there trying to make the big tackle, which led to a touchdown. And I don't remember what game that was. I think that was fourth to last game. I don't know. But, you know, he had that habit all year long of trying to go for big tackles, and it just never paid off, and it led to bad things. It led to big yards, it led to big plays that, you know, once Trey Boston and Eric Reed got back there, there's no way. He's already gotten like 20 yards, 30 yards, something like that. Come on. You know, and these are the things that he wants to tighten up. And I love that. You know, missed tackles, bad angles, just not being in the right spot at the right time. You know, all the little things that you have to clean up. I love that. That's what he wants us to be after 3 years. So, this is what happened after that occurred. Baylor finished second in takeaways, 30, third in interception, 17, and 8th in sacks per game, 3.31. The results speak for themselves. We don't even need to... Yeah. If you look at any good defense, they sack the quarterback and they create turnovers. Wasn't that what we were doing before 2016? Nailed it right on the head. He continues on. That was the last stage of becoming good at both Baylor and Temple. Now, if you really dug into the history of what Temple has done, it's just been a whole lot of nothing. Nobody's cared about Temple at all. Nobody even thought twice about Temple until he came there and just started winning games. Then everybody started to pay attention and there's like, who is this? You know, who is this team that everybody just keeps blowing out game after game? You know, and you're talking about mid-level division opponents. You know, like Texas Tech, who's just not really been up there in the polls that much. You're talking about like Baylor, who at the time before he came to Baylor was blowing out Temple. You know, even some of the lower end teams were blowing out Temple. And then Mr. Snow came in and you saw a complete turnaround. Complete turnaround with Matt Rule. It was just like, I don't even recognize this team anymore. Who is this? You know, they're sitting there with 10 wins, and you're just like, how did they get 10 wins when they were just coming off of a 2-win season? You know, it's crazy. It's wild. There were years where Temple didn't even get a win. And, you know, these two guys come in there and you're just like, okay, we're going to turn this team around in 3 years. Boom, it happened in 2. They come into Baylor. Baylor had not been doing anything for the longest time. And then They come in first year, let's just see what these guys are made of. Second year, boom, 10 wins. Hello. It's like, where did Baylor come from? And I remember looking at the national top 25 rankings at the time and just being shocked seeing them in there after 2 years. But I never understood, because I had never heard the name Matt Rule. I had never heard the name Snow, before that point. So I was like, okay, how did these guys get up there? That's incredible. In a 2-year span. How did you build through recruitment that quickly enough to be in the top 25 rankings when you haven't done a thing for 4+ years? Remarkable. So, we're going to keep this article going here. There's so much to cover in here. So, Max asked the question, so what will the defense look like under Snow in Carolina, expect a variety of looks? Snow says, we'll do quite a bit. If the offense knows exactly where you're going to be, they are too good. You have to have some disguise and be able to move around to different fronts and coverages. Yes. That's the kind of talk we need to hear from a defensive coordinator. That's it right there. This dude is diving in head first, saying, this is what I want to do. I have a plan. I have it laid out. This is a formula. It's working. You can see it in Temple. You can see it in Baylor. It's working. And the final test is the NFL. Tying it back into what he said earlier. So, he goes on to say, and if you don't affect the quarterback and make him hold the ball, take Drew Brees in our division, he gets rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds. Thank you. Finally, somebody says how long it takes a quarterback to get rid of the ball. I have not seen anybody say that yet as a defensive coordinator. Nobody. Finally, somebody says it. I've been pointing this out for years to people, and now you got a defensive coordinator saying this stuff. That makes me very, very happy and encouraged. So he goes on to say, well, you're not going to get to him, right? If you can't make him hold the football, how are you going to beat him? Thank you. Been saying it all year long. Okay. Take quarterbacks like Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. Boom. If you can't make him hold the football, how are you going to beat him? Legitimate question. So you have to be multiple enough to challenge the offense. That's the goal. Yes. Yes, no. Yes, the X's O's are important. There's one thing Snow can't stress enough. It's not necessarily what you do, it's how you do it. Yes! Oh, that is meaty. That's a meaty sentence right there. That's a meaty sentence. You take a look at what we've been doing and how we've been doing it, it's not cutting it, folks. When Snow comes in here, I expect changes. I expect changes in that first year. I'm excited. And he says, I'll say this, the system won't be why we win. It's going to be because of how fast and physical we play. Yes! That's the kind of conversations we need to be having if we want to start winning games in the NFC South. Thank you. Oh, man. And I want to get back into this sentence of if the offense knows exactly where you are going to be, they are too good. Thank you for saying that right there, because no one's going to acknowledge that. But it's true. It's so far beyond true you don't even have any idea in the NFL. If the offense knows exactly where your players are on the field and where they're going to be moving to, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right, folks. I have seen so many teams that have just been completely fooled. Through audibles, through shifts, through movements, by quarterbacks that just understand where you're supposed to be and understand the coverages you're running. They understand through various tapes that they've watched of you where you're supposed to be, and it comes down to this. If you are going to be in a predictable place at a predictable time and in a predictable way, taking a predictable angle that will not get a tackle, the quarterbacks will see that. I promise you. Every single one of them that's good at this game. Tom Brady, Breeze, Matt Ryan, every one of them's going to see it. Those three in particular are going to be able to light you up. Patrick Mahomes will light us up next year. I don't know how much clearer I could say that to people, because we have been so predictable in the last 4 years that I could have run a West Coast offense on these guys and still beating them by like 50 if I was the offensive coordinator. And that's with a beat-up line. That's with what we have. I could have run a train through this defense and had a blast with it. That's how predictable they looked. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, he's a Madden player. No. That's just coming from basic understanding of offenses. It's not a surprise that some of these offenses ran circles around our players last year. It's not a surprise. And it's because we became so easy to watch, to predict, and all this stuff is on tape. All of it. Every bit of it. They knew we weren't physical. They knew we were not strong. They knew that we lacked discipline. They knew that we were not going to take the proper angles. They knew that certain players would be burnt at certain plays. I'm talking about Bradbury would be burnt on certain plays. Dante Jackson would be burnt on certain plays. Shaq Thompson would be burnt, on certain coverages. And they take it and they run with it. So, I love that this guy knows exactly what he wants to bring to this team in 3 years. Phil Snow, man. Phil Snow. I'm loving these hires. I'm loving them. This is exactly what we need in Carolina. We need a physical team. We need a strong team. We need a disciplined team. And Phil Snow will get it for us. On a side note, I've also heard that Luke Kuechly is interested in a defensive line job. And the management is keeping it open for him. Coach Rule has actually lobbied for it. I fully endorse this. I fully endorse it 100%. I want Luke in this staff. If that man has half the knowledge he did when he was playing, we need that knowledge to be put to work in the Carolina coaching staff. Immediately. Immediately. And I'm not joking. Immediately. I remember the people that were saying that we should have gotten Steve Smith as a wide receivers coach. Yeah, some players can't coach as well. Some can. And Luke Kuechly is one of those that can. Nobody denies that. You've seen him with the clipboard on the sideline. Even when he wasn't playing, he was still taking notes. That's just how much of a disciplined and knowledgeable guy he is. He really, really cares about what he's doing and how he does it. And why he does it. That's Luke Kuechly for you. And we need that put to work in the coaching staff ASAP. ASAP. Let's not waste any time. If we can get this man in here, the second he's interested in signing a contract, put it in front of him. No joke. Because Washington will want him. Giants will want him. Buffalo will want him. There's at least two or three other teams that would want him in their coaching staff. But I guarantee you that man is loyal to Carolina. He is loyal to Carolina first. And thank God for that. Because I don't want to see him in any other coaching staff around the league. Anywhere. Alright, so yeah, that's on the NFL website. You can look on the news tab on the Panthers website if you'd like to read that for yourself. I will provide a link in the description for you so you can find it faster if you're interested in doing that. I skipped over the small parts, early on. But, I got straight to the meat of it. But you can read the whole thing there. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We got about 2 more videos planned for the coming 2 weeks. So, be on the lookout for those. Those will be the 2020 schedule and what players should we keep versus what players should we not keep going into scouting for the draft and going into 2020. I am still holding true on my suggestion of trading Cam. So, if anybody wonders what that suggestion was, I'll put a link for that video in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and keep pounding!